So I will start. Good morning and welcome to the second pre-proposal conference for RFP 56 FY23 for healthcare services for Arlington Public Schools. I am Hamid Hamidi and I am the Senior Procurement Specialist for Arlington Public Schools. Also representing APS during the conference are Brianna Cobbins, the Executive Director of Office of Human Resources Operations, and also the APS Project Manager for this project. David Webb, Director of Procurement, Shatia Moore, Benefit Supervisor, Rebecca Hoffman, Procurement Analyst. Also representing Confrey during the meeting of Daniel Lowe, Principal of Rewards and Benefit, Stephen Copper, Associate Client Partner, and Rayon Olson, Senior Principal. During the conference, the revised RFP will be reviewed to describe the changes addressed in Addendum 1. Questions are welcome and will need to be submitted in writing through the Q&A capability. Question will be addressed at the end of the conference. It needs to be emphasized that even though this conference is provided to help offerers gain a better understanding of this requirement, it remains the offerer's responsibility to be familiar with the content of the RFP and know what information is required to be included in a proposal submitted in response to this RFP. I would like to thank those attending for your interest in this APS requirement, and with that, I will now turn it over to Rebecca to review the RFP and the addendum.
Thank you. Good morning. This is our second pre-proposal conference for RFP 56 fiscal year 23 healthcare services for Arlington Public Schools. The proposal due date and time has been revised to February 3rd, 2023. Throughout this, I will be highlighting only the revisions that have been made to the existing RFP. We won't be covering information that was covered in the first pre-proposal conference. There are two versions of the RFP included in this Addendum 1, excluding the appendices. The first is a clean copy, and we'll be reviewing that with highlighted sections. The second that is provided to you has track changes indicated so you can see exactly where changes occurred within the RFP. The Addendum number 1 also provides revised Appendix J questionnaire and questionnaire pricing supplements. Offerers are to disregard the initially issued Appendix J questionnaire and questionnaire J pricing supplement. Only use these revised questionnaires. There are 4 documents. The first is the questionnaire for self-insured PPO and the questionnaire pricing supplement for self-insured PPO. The third and fourth documents would be questionnaire and questionnaire pricing supplements that would be used and submitted if you were submitting for a fully insured HMO or a self-insured EPO. And we'll touch on those a little further. The Appendix L is just claims history. M, N, and O are new. They are were not in the previous RFP, but are included in this one. Also new in this one is the Appendix V and Appendix W, which are for information only. Again, we'll touch on those at the end of the RFP. This addendum must be signed, dated, and submitted via the secure cloud-based file sharing platform specified in the RFP prior to the proposal due date and time, or acknowledgement of receipt can be on title page 2 of the RFP. If you choose to sign this Addendum 1 and return it, it would be included in tab 1. So we will go then to the RFP document itself that is included as part of the RFP. Again, repeating that the proposal due date February 3rd, 2023 through the APS platform. This is Arlington's Public Schools request for the establishment of a minimum of 1 and a maximum of 2 contracts for healthcare services. That is a major change. We were currently requesting 1 contract for all services. For proposals to be considered for award, again, must be received in the platform no later than 11:59 on Friday, February 3rd, 2023. So all questions should be submitted by January 16th at 5 p.m. and the answers or responses will be provided in an information item to be issued later next week. Go to page 4. This again addresses the major change that's a revision for this RFP. This proposal would be submitted for a group medical coverage plan or plans selected. The offerers may submit a proposal for 1, 2, or all 3 of the plans listed in the table below. Offerers are to check the selection boxes for the plan for which it's submitting a proposal. So, proposal would be for a self-insured preferred provider organization plan, and that there will be a contract awarded for that. There will also be a contract awarded for either a fully insured health maintenance organization or a self-insured exclusive provider organization. If the same offer is awarded the contract for the self-insured PPO and the fully insured HMO or self-insured EPO, APS reserves the right to award a single contract instead of awarding 2 separate contracts. And there's the boxes to check. Again, you can submit for 1, 2, or 3. The intent of APS is to award number 1 and either a 2A or a 2B. Okay, we're going to go. The first contract that APS is looking to award is for a self-insured PPO. This plan would include prescription drug coverage, vision coverage, on-site nurse practitioner, and employee assistance program, and administration of flexible spending accounts to include healthcare, dependent care, parking and transit, and the administration of COBRA. The offerer who submits a proposal must provide at a minimum the medical and prescription drug coverage services. It is acceptable to submit a proposal where subcontractors provide any or all of the other requirements that were mentioned. I want to point out, though, that the additional requirements for vision coverage, on-site nurse practitioner, employee assistance program, flexible spending accounts, and administration of COBRA, these will be available to all APS employees, those provisions. The second contract will be awarded for services provided through either a fully insured HMO or a self-insured EPO. Again, proposals can be submitted for 1, 2, or all 3, but 2 contracts will be awarded. Skip down to the scope of services. I don't think much has changed in our group insured PPO or as self-insured PPO, but we will have Dan from Korn Ferry cover the scope of services.
Hi, everybody. Yeah, like Rebecca mentioned, not much has really changed from the scope of services. I'm not going to go through each line in detail, but we do encourage you, of course, to review in detail the scope of services between all of the various coverages. As Rebecca mentioned, there are a total of 2 contracts that could be awarded, and they could each be going to the same bidder, but it could also be separated between PPO with all of the RX, Cobra, Vision, on-site nurse practitioner, and FSA. And then a separate contract for either an HMO or an EPO plan. I did want to note, as you see that we resubmitted some of the appendices, particularly Appendix J, that's broken into the questionnaire portion and the financial request portion. If you've already begun work on your Appendix J questionnaire, I just wanted to note that the substance of the questions in the questionnaire have not changed if you are planning on submitting a full response, meaning if you're planning on submitting responses for the self-insured PPO and all the coverages that go with that contract, and you are also planning on submitting for fully insured HMO or the self-insured EPO. That full Appendix J questionnaire and financial request is the same as before. None of the questions have been altered. We do ask that you submit the new appendix, so you should just be able to paste any responses that you've already been working on into the new appendix submitted. If you are planning on submitting only for the fully insured HMO or the self-insured EPO, the attachments, the Appendix J attachments for those have been pared down to just include the general portion of the questionnaire, the medical questionnaire, and the RX questionnaire, along with the appropriate financial fields that you would need to fill out. So that pretty much takes care of the changes to the scope. And as mentioned, if you have any questions on the specifics of those, the question deadline will be January 16th, and we'll be happy to answer those. Okay,
Great.
Rebecca, can I hand it back to you? Thanks.
Yes, we will go to the tentative schedule. Today, of course, January 11th, we're holding our pre-proposal conference 2. Question deadlines are January 16th by 5 p.m. Information item or addendum 2, if it's needed, would be issued January 20th. Several questions had come up about exactly the timing and the open enrollment, anticipated open enrollment date, October 2023. For APS, it's generally October each year. And then the contract implementation, when these plans would be effective, would be January 1st, 2024. Okay. I'm going to skip to page 20, the format and content. Again, we've covered this, but there's certain information that is required in each tab. So we'll review those under this format and content. If you're submitting a proposal for more than one plan, specific information to that plan is required in certain tabs. In those tabs, which would be 2, 3, and 4, we'll get to those in a minute, the offer is to create a sub-tab A for information that is specific only to the self-insured PPO, a sub-tab B for information specific only to their fully insured HMO, or sub-tab C, would be 3C, for information specific only to the self-insured EPO. I think that'll be a little more clear as we go through this. Tab 1, the information requested in Tab 1 is applicable for all plans, so there is not a need to create sub-tabs for this one. Tab 2, the executive summary, there is information that is specific to each plan, so creating the tabs A, B, sub-tabs A, B, and C is required. I want to point out within A, which is your group self-insured PPO plan, we have a typo. I've highlighted that in blue. That should say self-insured PPO references tab. So be sure to use Appendix J questionnaire for self-insured PPO. B would be the fully insured HMO plan, and that would be under tab B. Those are the requirements within that. And C, the self-insured EPO plan, again, the requirements that would go in tab 2. Going to tab 3, the technical proposal, tab 3A would be your self-insured PPO plan. Again, highlighted there in blue, and these will be addressed in the information item that should read self-insured PPO. These are the tabs, and tab 3 would also, 1 through 9, and the attachments were in the initial 10, 11, and 12, the medical disruption pharmacy requests. These are Appendix M, N, and O. They were not in the original RFP, but they have been included in Addendum 1, and they would be needed to be included in tab 3A. Let's go to B, if you are submitting for a fully insured HMO plan, use the questionnaire for the fully insured HMO, self-insured EPO, and submit it under tab 3B, and it would include these documents that are listed under there, under B. If you are submitting for the self-insured EPO plan C, those documents would be included in tab 3C, and for the self-insured EPO, you would also include Appendix M and Appendix N as attachments and include those within tab 3C. They are not part of the questionnaire. Okay, we'll move to tab 4, the cost proposal. Information is specific to each plan. So there would be a tab 4A, tab 4B, and tab 4C. Again, just to point out on tab 4A for the group self-insured PPO plan, highlighted in blue, that should be SI, should be self-insured PPO. I'm going to move to tab 5, tabs 5, 6, and 7. The information required is applicable for whichever plan you are submitting, so there's no need to create tabs for A, B, or C. Going to move to the evaluation criteria on page 25. For each of the 3 stages, the initial, the shortlist interviews, and the negotiation stage, one criterion has been added with a value of 10%, and that is for network coverage. And that criterion will appear in each of the evaluations stages. And that will lead us up to Appendix A, or appendices. And I'm not going to cover appendices A, B, C, D, and E are to be included in tab 1. They have not changed from the original RFP. Appendices F, G, and H, and I, again, they were in the original RFP, and those are for information only. So we're going to go to page 74 to Appendix J. And discuss it. Appendix J as well. All right. Appendix J, it's shown there, the 3 different proposals that could be included. The first one talks about for the self-insured PPO. The second one, the fully insured HMO. And the third one would be for the questionnaire. It's a little confusing. There are actually, as we pointed out in the cover addendum, there are 4 Appendix J documents. There's the questionnaire for the self-insured PPO and the questionnaire pricing supplement for the self-insured PPO, which is mentioned in this first paragraph. The second one is for 2 of the other documents, the questionnaire for the fully insured HMO and the EPO, and the pricing supplement for each of those. So those documents would be included if you are submitting a proposal for the fully insured HMO. The third paragraph again mentions the second 2 documents, the questionnaire for the fully insured HMO and self-insured PPO, and the pricing supplement for those. That document would be used if you were submitting for a self-insured EPO. As mentioned earlier, the offers are to disregard the initially issued questionnaire J and questionnaire pricing supplement and use only the new appendices that were included. There were no changes to Appendix K and L. Those were included for information only. So we'll move to Appendix M, which is new as part of this addendum. The Appendix M disruption report is to be included in tab 3 of the proposal if submitting a proposal for the self-insured PPO of 3A. If you are submitting a self-insured EPO, this disruption report would be in 3C. There is no requirement for this for the HMO. The same information is true for the pharmacy request in Appendix N. This is new, and it would be included in tab 3A if submitting for a self-insured PPO, and tab 3C if for the self-insured EPO. Appendix O is a vision disruption report that is only necessary if submitting for the self-insured PPO, and that would be included in tab 3A. The last appendices, P, Q, R, S, T, and U, were in the previous one and provided for information only. However, appendices V and W are new, and they are included in this addendum 1 for information purposes only. That is Appendix V and W. And that is covering the revised RFP, and we are open to take questions. Ahmed, that'll go back to you.
So I have 2 questions. The first one is, should we not worry about submitting addendums issued prior to the revised proposal being sent? Rebecca, can you? Okay.
I'll answer that question, Hamed. I believe this is addendum number 1, so that there were no previous addendums or addenda issued prior to this. So at this moment, we're looking for offers to acknowledge addendum number 1.
The next question is to confirm you are only selecting one, either the FIHMO or SIEPO, but will not be both. So Dan, can you provide an answer to this question?
Correct, yes. So during the evaluation process, we will be comparing self-insured EPOs alongside fully insured HMO to decide what the best fit for Arlington Public Schools is, and one of the 2 options will be selected.
Thank you. So
Dan, if I could just build on that response, that the offers are permitted to submit proposals. In a proposal, they can submit for all 3 plans. They don't have to submit for either or. They can submit for all 3 plans. Then APS will decide upon which plan to go ahead with.
Thank you. Thank you. So there is no other question in the queue. So with that, this pre-proposal conference is concluded. Thank you very much, everyone, for your interest. Have a great day.
Thank you.